wear masks and be social distance at the post office,
Right.
Because it's federal land and they're requiring it.
Right.
So we'll all be wearing masks, and if you do show up, please bring a mask. We'll try to have masks if you don't have one, but we're going to practice social distancing. But we're still going to do the same. They're going to bring the mail in. We're going to drop it off. We'll have our sales crew trailer there. You can buy neckerchiefs and posters and have the riders sign the stuff. So that's still a go. It's just been changed a little bit, so we conform with what the federal
Now,
folks want.
I'm assuming, and of course you know what they say about that, but I'm assuming that when you talk about the mask wearing, that's just as you come into these stops. When you're actually out on the road doing the Pony Express thing, you don't want to look like somebody
Correct.
held up the Pony Express or
Correct.
something.
Yeah, when
Okay.
we're in motion, we don't need to wear the mask. It's just whenever we
There you go.
come to a place to stop.
That would make for some great pictures.
Well, the horses don't like it at all. We have big black stuff, and we tried it a couple times. And the horses do not really care for that, so we
Is that right?
decided, okay, well, we won't.
It just doesn't look like Sheriff's Posse material when you got a mask
That's
on.
right.
Right?
Yep.
All right. And now, Steve, when it comes to everything how long have you been involved in this?
This will be my 44th year.
Are you starting to get the hang of it?
Yeah, I'm learning. Now that COVID's here, I'm all learning everything.
You're learning it all over again. Huh?
Yeah,
So
it's
now,
changed.
what's your main duty when it comes to this group? Because I know you all have different tasks that you focus
Well,
on.
I'm the first lieutenant, Marcus Captain, Neville
Right.
County Sheriff's Posse.
Right.
And I'm an operations lieutenant, so I handle operations. And this is just one event, one operation that we do through the year. We primarily are set up as a sheriff's posse
Right.
that does search and rescue.
And having done some of that myself here, I mean, there's a lot of moving parts to that when it comes to, usually, it seems like the calls always come in at like 2 o'clock in the morning and at the least opportune
Exactly.
time, and usually when there's a snowstorm or something.
Exactly right. And
At least that's how
the
I
worst
recall.
conditions.
Yeah.
We not only work search and rescue, we work the Dude Fire, we work the Roto Jessica Fire,
Right.
and so we, in floods, we work floods.
Mm-hmm.
We're a community service organization. We're actually one of the few remaining mounted search and rescue units in the state.
Wow, very interesting. And Scott, now one of the things that Mark had mentioned is that the timing of the ride through apparently all falls on your shoulders. So if you're not here right at the perfect point, then we all know that it's your fault.
Yeah,
You feeling pretty special?
not necessarily, no.
So, there's got to be a lot of moving parts to this equation, too, just as far as, there's got to be a ton of variables when it comes to just getting all the handoffs done smoothly. How long is each rider going before they hand off to the next rider, typically?
Each rider rides an average of a mile,
Right.
and when the mile markers are up, that it's easy to measure where your ride starts and stops. But you ride a mile, hand it off to a partner. He rides the next mile, and you put your horse in the trailer. You go down, pick him up when he's done because he's handed it off already.
Right.
And then you leapfrog to the front of the line, and it starts all over again. So each rider rides a mile at a time. There's enough riders that your horse gets a good blow, gets rested
Right.
before you have to ride again.
All right. So, and then just trailer it up to the next starting point. And
You go up to the front of the line. It's like a leapfrog.
Mhm.
So you have, say we have 30 riders, 15 teams of two-man teams. I'm not sure what the dynamics are this year, but when you're done with your ride and you pick up your partner, then you go to the front of the line, and then there's all these riders in between you, and
Right.
you wait for the mail to catch up, and you go again.
wow. And how many riders total do you have doing this relay?
Well, this year I'm not sure.
24.
24 riders this year.
Wow. And they're all members of the Navajo County Sheriff's Posse.
Some of them are guest riders. I have two sons that'll be riding this year as
Right.
guest riders that have come up to ride this for this first time this year.
Well, I know that over the years, it has been interesting in that this ride normally happens a little earlier in the year than this, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
February.
And in February, weather, when you start talking, first of all, for people that aren't familiar, the route comes from Holbrook all the way down to Highway 260, and then west on Highway 260 through Star Valley and into Payson here, and then you overnight here in Payson. The next day you take off, and if nothing has changed since last go around, you overnight down along the Verde River there by the Fort McDowell Casino in that area, and then the next morning head on down into the valley. Is that pretty much the same route this year?
Pretty much the same route. We won't be camping at the Verde. Usually we freeze up here and can't wait to get down to the valley.
Well, I was going to say,
This
some of
year-
these times there's been, you're talking about icy roadways
yes.
where it can get pretty precarious out there on a
Pretty
horse.
scary sometimes.
Yeah.
So this year we're dreading getting to the valley because it's going to be hot.
Yeah.
And the nice rides will be up here in the mountains.
Right. So a little trotting up here, maybe.
Yeah, not quite so rushed. Get
Yeah,
out of here.
I hear you. And now, with this many riders, well, first of all, how many pieces of mail typically do you all carry each year? I mean, is there a certain number that you've
Anywhere between 7,000 and 9,000. We have carried up to 30,000 pieces of mail.
Wow.
We did a special dare statewide, and they sent their dare envelopes.
Are you talking about drug abuse resistance
Right,
education?
yes.
Not just that someone dared you to take a whole bunch of mail.
Yeah.
Okay.
We did that several years ago, and we had mail from all over the state.
Wow.
And it ballooned us up to 30,000 pieces of mail. But on the average, it's between 7,000 and 9,000.
And obviously, that's not all fitting in one bag that one
No,
rider's
we
carrying.
usually have 12 or 13 old mail bags.
Right.
They're canvas railroad bags that we fill up. We've had, I've got contact from a school in Oklahoma.
Wow.
And
I mean, that,
in Texas,
Don't sing it.
in Washington, in Washington, and in fact, we have a lady that we're trying to build a statue in Holbrook, and one of our members that have passed away, I got notified yesterday in Massachusetts, I think.
wow.
She donated money for him to have his name put on a brick. And I don't know if that's a family member or what, but I mean, she sent the committee, not the hash of it. She sent the committee yesterday, and they notified me that she had sent them $1,000 check to put Ralph Garrett's. He was one of our cooks and stuff. Great
Right.
guy. He passed away, and so she wanted
wow.
to make sure that his name got put on a brick and sat at the bottom of the statue and stuff. So
And where's this statue at?
it's going to be, it's being made by Scott Rogers.
Okay.
He was the second runner-up to the one that we have in Scottsdale.
Mhm.
And he's going to put it on the corner there of Navajo and Hopi.
Oh, wow.
And it'll be a 2-year project. And we're hoping to unveil it in on the 65th ride. He's given us a pretty good deal on it. We got to raise a lot of money
Mhm.
for it, but by getting your family member's name put on the brick and everything, it should help pay for it. So if anybody wants to do it, just call the city of Holbrook. I don't have the phone number.
Should be
right
easy to
offhand.
find, though. Just call the city
you'll
of
be
Holbrook.
able to call them and especially the old members, that Pony Express riders that we have moved away
Right.
and stuff, or their family members would like to have them recognized. That's a way to do it.
Well, I think it's just really it's a great little piece of down home Americana, keeping the Old West alive. First of all, how many years again has the Hash Knight Pony Express been running the mail from Holbrook down to Scottsdale?
The first year, 1959, they
Wow.
rode it to Phoenix.
62 years ago.
Yeah, and so it's been a continual. We've tried to, Steve and I and all the group, the whole guys. It's not one person that keeps it going. It's a full group. We have cooks, we have mail handlers, we have riders, we have people that help us along the way that don't necessarily ride, and so it's probably about 60 people. That goes on this ride, and it cost about $40,000 between motel rooms and food and fuel and
Well, how do you
all
pay for that?
Well, we get donations.
It's
We
it's
go-
all a nonprofit, and,
yeah,
and it's
and
a
we go
lot
out
of
and
people
we
keeping
try
it
to
alive.
raise money. So, like any nonprofit, one year you'll have sponsors. Next year you may not have sponsors. So we're constantly trying to get sponsors to make up for the ones. COVID has really hurt us. We're
bet.
really down on our sponsorship because the businesses and stuff just don't have the money this year to donate, and we understand that. I've told them, hey, we fully understand it. You know, we have a $175 per rider fee that helps pay. It gives us about $9,500 that helps pay for the food and motel rooms and stuff. And
So
plus-
the writers themselves, are
yeah,
kicking
they-
in on
they-
this.
Yeah, they pay to go. It's an event charge. You know, we did that several years ago when we were down to nothing one day before the ride,
Right.
and had no money, and so we decided, hey, you know what, we still, after this ride, we still got to pay the electricity, and we still got to
Right.
pay the gas and all that. So it's a constant thing, and it helps. The extra money that we have also pays for our search and rescue schools, and we've got a couple of instructors that have gone to school to learn do CPR and sign off on the quads and sign off on the side by sides and stuff. So yeah, we're trying to be self-sufficient so we can support the sheriff of Navajo County to the
Sure.
fullest degree.
Now,
what he needs.
right, and I understand. You just mentioned that for the last 62 years, the Hash Knife Pony Express has been doing this annual ride. But your brother was telling me earlier that you personally have been doing this ride since the late 1800s.
Yeah. In fact, I went to sleep one day and I woke up in 1978. Decided I better join the Hash Knife because I was getting a little old by then.
Since '78, you've been doing this.
Yeah.
Wow, that goes back a ways. And
Steve's been doing it before.
Yeah.
The mountains were really flat.
Gotta love the love between brothers. And Scott, when it comes to how many years have you been doing this?
This will be my sixth ride.
Your sixth ride, and you see some of the guys like the two on either side of you here who have been doing this since shortly after horses were invented. It's got to be kind of an interesting group to get around with.
There's been some interesting moments. Yes.
Probably nothing that's airworthy though.
Some of it isn't. Yes, some of it isn't.
I understand completely. Well, now one of the things too is, I mean, this is always a big deal here in Payson as the Hash Knife Pony Express comes through town. And with us also in the studio is Lauren from Payson Parks and Recreation and Tourism. And Lauren, I mean, this is something that there's just an awful lot of people that historically have gotten out along the roadway, either out in Star Valley along Highway 260 or along the road coming into Payson, and I mean, people come out just to see the Hash Knife come through town. This is kind of a cool event that you don't just see too many other places.
Oh, absolutely. And we are thankful for our support of RPD, who actually come out and help once they hit town limits to help kind of escort them in and make
Right.
sure the crowds and everybody is safe as they come into town. And we were just over at the Christian school this morning, and one of the teachers caught me as we were leaving and said, I'm new here, and this is so this is really cool, and I've never seen anything like this. And so I was like, definitely come to the post office, come see the guys ride in. It's not every day you see 40 horses and the flags and everything coming down Highway 87.
That's true. Only about once a year. But it is definitely something that you don't want to miss out on. And if you have family members who maybe have never seen this before, get on out there. And I would imagine, when it comes to the riders, Mark, that it's got to be pretty cool just to to be riding into Payson and see people out along the road waving and then showing up at the post office, and there's different memorabilia and stuff that people typically get access to. Is that's all happening again this year?
Yes, Bob's Western Wear has been gracious enough to have our mailers and neckerchiefs and posters and postcards and our mailers, and they're going to have. They texted me yesterday. They're going to have a bunch of people at the Bob's Western Wear on the afternoon that we ride in.
Right.
So if you need that stuff, go to Bob's Western Wear, and while you're in there buying stuff, look around. You might be able to find something that you want, cowboy hat, a shirt, or something, and wear it when we ride in, be dressed up like cowboys.
There you
and,
go.
You could be part of the event.
Keep the Old West alive.
Yes.
And you know, it's what's always really cool is when you make your stop. There's always a lot of people bring out their kids, and to me, the look of wonderment on the kids' faces, it just makes every bit of all the work that you do seem to be worthwhile, and it's just a wonderful thing to see.
This morning at the Christian school, one of the children asked if they could pet the horse. So John had his horse standing there at the entryway into the school, and the kids got in single file, and they walked by, and they all got to touch the horse.
Neat. I bet for some of them that was probably a first.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
and they probably first time they ever seen a horse, but they actually got to touch one.
And then the next thing you did was give them a shovel and have them clean up after the horse, right?
No, that's John's job.
Oh, okay. Official pooper scooper of the Hash Knife Pony Express. Now, Steve, again, how many years you been doing this?
This will be my 44th year.
44th year. And boy, I mean, being involved that long, you know some of the folks that were involved in this from the very start.
My dad was one of them.
Was that
Art
right?
Reynolds was one of the original.
So this has been a real family thing for all you
Yes,
Reynolds.
We grew up with the Navajo County Sheriff's Posse.
Wow, very cool.
And back then they wore guns, they
Right.
guarded prisoners, they stood roadblocks. I mean, it's changed
It was
a
a real-
lot
real
in
deal there,
60 years, but they went on searches for escaped felons. I mean, so that was a different era where Sheriff's Posse was definitely Sheriff's Posse.
Yeah, very
and,
cool.
Now because of the liabilities and everything else, we're reduced in support of the sheriff.
Right.
We don't do that anymore.
But what a great way to keep some of that old heritage alive. It's got to be a pretty special thing to just be riding along, handing off the mailbag as it was done so long ago. But to keep, where else is this done?
Yeah, we have the longest continuous postal pony express contract in the history of the United States.
Wow.
And when we hit 50 years, the state of Arizona, the Historical Society, made us a historical event. So in 2012, when we had the centennial, they came back out and made a list of the top 100 events, historical events, and Hash Knife Pony Express was in the top 10.
Right.
So we're very honored to be doing that. And I tell guys, on the serious end of this, we are history. We no longer make history. We are history. We have to live up to that commitment as to what historically we do, and we deliver mail. And you're talking about coming into Payson, but we deliver mail. We pick up mail and stuff in Overgard, Heber, Pine, Payson.
All along the way.
We pick it up at Fountain Hills, and then we go on into Scottsdale. So, and it's worldwide. We get mail from all over the world.
Envelopes, you have your own cachet
Cachet,
that's stamped on it and everything?
all the envelopes are hand canceled and hand cached. There's 2 stamps on them.
Right.
And the Postal Service changes the cancellation every year. We kicked off Super Bowl 30. We carried the game ball and the coins to start the Super Bowl.
Wow.
The next Super Bowl out of Glendale, we carried the game ball and the coins to kick off the second Super Bowl in Arizona. We also rode Pony Express in Mexico for President Reagan, and we rode what they call post mail in Canada for President Bush.
Wow.
So we've done a lot of different things.
Well, and really keeping the Pony Express alive. I think that's a wonderful thing.
Yes.
Wow. And again, how many people involved right now?
There's probably total involved around 56, 55 right now.
Right.
With 24 riders.
Nice.
So we have a support contingency, as you know. We have now, because of the situation on our highways and stuff, we do jump on the right-of-ways now and then. So we have Sheriff's Department support. We're grateful to Sheriff Navajo County. He has a contingency of support people for security reasons that are with us all the way down to Scottsdale, and they do an outstanding job.
So now the very first day, you're taking off from Holbrook and ending up in Payson.
We do about 100 miles that first day.
Wow. That's not, you're not letting the grass grow under you at all.
The total ride time for the 200 miles is around 13 hours. We average right at 13 hours.
Right.
So if we were to leave at 4 o'clock in the morning, we would be in, if we were just to ride it straight out.
Right.
That mail, it's moving. It's moving.
Wow, that's very interesting. And when the evening that you spend here again, Mark, is when is it again that you're coming into Payson?
It's the 14th, Wednesday the 14th.
Wednesday the 14th. You're going to spend the night here, and then you take the next leg of the trip starting the next morning out of Payson, right?
And we usually leave at 9, but we're going to leave at 8 because they're expecting the temperature to be around 90 in the afternoon, so we don't want to injure any horses.
Sure.
So we're going to try to get down off the hill
Right.
as quick as we can.
Just one thing for the locals here, I want to say that Scott and his team, and we will be at the Pine Post Office around 12:30, and the school kids are coming over from the school at approximately 1:30, and they're going to be giving us our mailers and our we're going to be giving them neckerchiefs and having a good time there in Pine.
Very good.
At the Pine Field.
And then that part of the contingency is actually riding down from Pine to Payson?
That they ride portion of that back.
Right.
And then, but it's just a pickup point and not a part of the.
I was going to say that
actual
part of the
contract.
road there that'd be a spooky one.
I've ridden that. That's extremely.
It would expand your vocabulary in a less than positive way at times.
In '76, when they celebrated the ride, we rode out of Winslow, Snowflake, Holbrook, and we rode out of Winslow, and we rode the road from Winslow down to through Pine, and we all met in Payson.
Wow.
All the riders met in Payson. It was a really big ride.
Boy, that'd be interesting. Now, when you're here on the 14th, spending the night, there's always usually some kind of shindig going on. What's the plan for that night here?
Well, we're going to eat dinner at the casino, but it's just going to be limited to the riders.
All thanks to COVID?
Yeah, it will be due to the COVID. They're not allowing any public in.
Right.
So it's just going to be for the riders.
Well, it just makes sense that got to be a little extra careful. Hopefully by next year we'll get things back to more
I'm
like
hoping
normal, whatever that is.
I'm hoping it'll be close to normal, as normal as we can get.
And I don't even know what that is, so.
Neither do I. So hopefully I'm just around for that. Right.
I hear you. Well, I just think that what you all do to keep this alive, you've got the the world's oldest continuous postal Pony Express contract, and you come through the home of the world's oldest continuous rodeo. It seems like it fits like a glove, and it's always a lot of fun to watch you guys come in every year. Thanks for what you do, and thanks for what you do just with the sheriff's posse in general. I mean, having been a past president of the sheriff's posse here, I'm kind of familiar with some of the challenges there, and that's a lot of sometimes difficult work that you don't get a lot of praise for. So thanks for what you do.
Well,
Can we give you a hash knife on the way out?
Oh, you betcha. Matter of fact, you'll be hearing this all along the way if you come out to see them, but we are out of time, so give us one to send us off into Rim Country weather.
1, 2, 3.
Hash knife!
Now here is the KRIM weather forecast for Payson and surrounding areas. I'm nowcast meteorologist Jim Vaughn. For today, mostly sunny skies, high in the lower 70s. Southwest winds at 5 to 10 miles per hour. Tonight, mostly clear, low in the mid-40s. North winds at around 5 miles per hour. Wednesday, sunny, high in the low to mid-70s. Wednesday night, clear, low in the upper 40s. And Thursday, sunny skies, it will be breezy, high in the mid-70s. And that's your latest weather forecast from KRIM 96.3 FM, the Rim Country's radio station.
This is Fred the DJ inviting you to an exciting program on KRIM. It's Rock and Roll Rarities, and I'll be here Wednesday nights at 7 for 2 hours of rock, blues, jazz rock fusion, island, reggae, forgotten oldies, and even some surprising new sounds. We'll have theme nights and featured artists of the week, and best of all, you'll hear great music that seldom makes it to the airwaves anywhere else. So tune your radio dial to 96.3 this and every Wednesday night at 7 for Fred the DJ with Rock and Roll Rarities on KRIM.